it's record talk time. That's right, with the new intro, with the countdown, chopping them off, throw them like grenades. Let's spin some records, baby.
Woo!
They grow back. What's up, Jeff? Like starfish.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Gentlemen.
What's going on, everybody?
Good evening and good night.
Yeah. All of those things.
Sure, why not?
Well, I mean, that's probably mostly just good night at this point. I mean, as soon as I cross 6, 6 is designated evening, is it not? Anything up to 6 is afternoon?
I think 5. To me, 5 is evening.
Nah, because I say 5 o'clock in the afternoon to be extra douchey sometimes. So 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right.
Depends on the season, though.
Yeah.
Like right now, like it's sunny till 7, so it's really
That's true. That's true.
It's seasonal.
Yeah.
Seasonal terminology.
I think I've got
pretty early though, don't you, James? Because you get up early, right?
Yeah, I'm usually asleep by around 10. No later than 10.
I think where James lives, the sun. They have months out of the year where the sun never goes down, or no?
No. You need to freaking buy a globe, brother. Watch a YouTube video about it, not the flat Earth ones. Like watch one where it's the actual representation of the Earth, where it's round.
It's round.
Spherical.
Is it? It's a part of Alaska where the sun never goes down, and then where it never comes.
And
up
Antarctica,
either?
I think the
Canada has it too, man.
There's parts of the upper northern and southern part where you have those. That's right, babe.
The tundra.
Oh, Dylan Rackley, day got better when Record Talk went live, and that Rob
Dylan.
you interviewing Steve effing Vai. Yeah, I know, right? On his birthday.
Drop that bomb today. You guys got to check out if you're watching, man. So I talked to Phil X this week from Bon Jovi. He was killer. Rob Mother Bailey earlier today, which is just a huge influence of mine. Check out his music, fitness, just built an empire of greatness. And the man, literally in the middle of his day, can say, look up at the sky. It's sunny. I'm going to jump in my airplane and go fly around for a couple of hours. Then when I land, I'm going to jump in my fleet of Porsches and drive them around the track. No big deal. This man is free. He has freedom. Yeah. And Steve Vai next week. Pretty cool. Things are going great. You don't think that's cool? You don't want to jump on your airplane?
No.
I found there's a place nearby me that has Cessnas for like 25 grand. I kind of want to get my pilot's license, but Melissa and everybody else that I know says I can't.
I think you can. Then you could fly here. Hey, I'm going to get some nice golf clubs for my birthday. I hear there's nice golfing where you live, James. And
golfing is like the state sport of Arizona. Like there's more golf courses in Arizona than there are anywhere else in the country.
My neighbor's parents live in Arizona. I forget where, and I think they're thinking about moving back though. And he's a big golfer, and he likes golf courses out there. So I've heard some pretty good things about the golf courses out there. Golf
in Phoenix, like within 5 miles of my house, there's probably 25 golf courses.
That is one sport I cannot get into. I have tried many times. I've gone with my in-laws. It's one of those things too. It's not like another sport like baseball or like after several tries and things you can kind of fit like, all right, that didn't feel right if I do this, if I choke up this, if I tried it, you immediately have like successive reinforcement where you're like, okay, that worked. Let me repeat that. Golf is not that way. It is just the sheer mechanics of it confuse the hell out of me. And I just
you know what you have to do is don't go golfing, go to a Top Golf, and that will make everything better.
Or
because
just get a golf cart, and that's all I really care about that. Golf cart and day drinking.
If you go to a Top Golf, you can eat and drink and hit golf balls, and it's unlimited golf balls as far as I can tell. As long as you're paying for the booth, you can hit as many golf balls as you like.
Do you play golf, James?
I do not play golf, but I will smash the crap out of numerous golf balls while drinking Long Island iced teas and eating mozzarella sticks.
All right, Rob, you do golf though, huh?
I haven't in a long time because, my golfing friends sadly passed away. So I'm going to make some new golfing friends. And
Did he just laugh at death of friends? Yeah, he did.
So you can come play when you're out here.
Yeah, man.
I look forward to it. So before we get into the Black Rose, we got to have...
What's in the glass? What's in the oh, wow. What's in the glass?
All right, that was weird.
Yeah, don't do that. No. I agree with you, Dylan. Screw normal golf. Frisbee golf is best.
Frisbee golf.
Hey guys from Brazil, what's up, dude? Marcel, is that how you say your first name? Marcel Drums from Brazil. Rock on, man. What time is it there, dude? Comment, please.
Where in Brazil? Rio? Sao
Yeah,
Paulo?
James, you have friends in Brazil, right?
I have friends in Rio.
This guy's a great drummer. Check out his videos on Instagram.
No kidding. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Let me write this down.
Yep. Follow.
Fast my notepad.
So,
Throw in the chat your Instagram name. We'll shout it out.
so because no one started and nobody said anything, I'm drinking a Glencairn of Breckenridge Rum Cast, and it's delicious.
Do that already?
Yes, we did do that.
San Paulo. Cool, man.
Cool.
All right.
Brian, how about you?
I am boring. Drinking water. I had a late
right.
day coffee, so
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm trying to hydrate now.
That's what we're made of.
Coffee?
It's true. Coffee. Yes. So I'm drinking a combination of a days old remnants of an Americano, a bottle of water, and I just opened up another one of these hemp extract beverages.
Is that the same one that did the unicorn tears or unicorn vomit?
Just with grapefruit, but also tastes like unicorn tears. Yeah.
Got it.
Is it straight up grapefruit like Fresca?
This would taste identical to Fresca.
No way.
Yeah.
Is that not terrible for you?
Without the sweet. No, this has no sugar, man. This is
Oh, just drinking your beer. What kind of beer, Marcel? I hope I said your name right, man.
5 calories. Purified water, less than 2% of the following: hemp extract, grapefruit, natural flavor, citric acid. Nothing bad in there.
Dude, throw it up to the camera so I can see the. I like the artwork things.
Yeah, they do a really good job. They actually do.
Mad
That's awesome.
tasty. There's some greatness in the simplicity of that.
This is Ryan Tedder from One Republic, and they just actually sent out like a beta test of these little shots that I'll rep next week. Oh, an American IPA in Sao Paulo. I like it.
Hey, right on, man. What kind of IPA? I'm not a big IPA drinker. There's one that I really enjoy is by Oscar. Is it Oscar Blues? They do a Goodnight one. So it comes in a tall boy, and it's a pack of 4. They do all their beers in cans. Man, high percentage. 2 will put you where you need to be. You do 3, and then you finally stand up. You're like, oh, mistake. Oh,
You are pronouncing it right. Well done. Groovy.
so yes.
Yeah, man. When I drink IPA, I get a headache right away. Right away. Not built for it.
I can't either. And I don't know. I think it's too hoppy. It takes the right combination of one that I really enjoy. That's what like the Goodnight. If you could find Goodnight, Oscar Blues, awesome beer. I really messed up my knee drinking that one time.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So, what are we talking about tonight, guys?
Eisenbahn. All right, cool. We are talking about the Black Crowes. Shake Your Moneymaker. Came out in 1990, gentlemen. 1990. Woo!
God, that's a long
Who's
time
feeling
ago.
old? Who's feeling old?
So old.
Right?
And this is this their first album, or this
That
is
is their debut album.
It is their debut. Okay. Oh wow, that makes it worse probably.
31 years. Yeah, dude, it's
yeah, that makes it worse.
So anytime I don't know about you guys. I was never into the Black Crowes. I feel like it was something I kind of missed out on. I knew I grew up, listening to a lot of music in the 90s. It never really got on my radar. So I figured like, why not try it? It'd be great for all of us to kind of experiment it. So anytime I pick out a new band, I always try to do like a search and find out what is the fan voted favorite. And this one was pretty highly ranked by fans, like their debut album. And then upon listening to it, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely know all the singles from this for sure.
Yeah.
But it's cool. They used to be known as Mr. Crow's Garden. And in 88, one of the producers, I think it was the producer of the album, saw the band in New York City and signed them to Deaf American, which is Rick Rubin's.
Rubin.
Yep. And then changed their name to the Black Crowes shortly after, which Rick Rubin's actually an executive producer on this album.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, a lot of these records we're talking about, they're on these 25 to 30 year spitting food everywhere. I apologize. I'm eating. It's going to happen. It's going to be filthy and disgusting.
What did Dylan say? Drinking smart water, but it's clearly not making me smarter. I had the same problem, dude. I've chugged many of those to no avail.
So I highly recommend, if anyone is listening to this and you're unfamiliar with this record, some of your younger fans out there, just are friends, they just don't know some of these bands, get the deluxe reissues, because this is a 3-disc reissue.
Yeah.
It has the B-sides, demos, acoustic versions, and then a whole live show, which I didn't realize is from 1990. So it's
Yep.
like period correct. And we'll get into that later, but on fucking fire.
Yeah. Hey, mouth.
Sorry. I cursed like crazy in the one earlier tonight, so I'm coming down from that.
There's a great, I read a great review. There's a bunch of different, I like to read reviews too, to see like how, from the time. So like not necessarily now. So looking at in the 90s when this popped out, you know, what were people saying about it? You know, various zines and things like that. And Entertainment Weekly had a really good review of this. They gave it a B+, and they stated the Black Crowes are to the early Rolling Stones what Christian Slater is to the young Jack Nicholson, a self-conscious imitation, but fine enough in its own right. Authentic bluesmen, these Crowes will never be, but their sheer energy earns them the right to trash it up. And I think that was a pretty fair representation of this album. I think that
That's brilliant.
I thought so too, and not all the time are reviews that on. Sometimes it could be a little bit too jaded. They could be a little bit too bitey. You know, they forget that there's people's hearts behind all this music, and they get to be a little bit too shitty, for lack of better words, to the. And I thought that was pretty good. I didn't take that as a stab. I thought that was a pretty good representation of what this is, because I do think, and we'll go through it, but there's a lot of, you could hear previous artists on here, you know.
Yeah.
But live, they are a different beast for sure.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
You know, for me, I knew, I'm looking at it on my other screen. I'm sorry. I knew Twice as Hard. I knew Jealous Again. I've played Hard to Handle 1,000 times. And She Talks to Angels, if I didn't say that one.
Well, yeah, let's start it off with Twice as Hard. I mean, let's
just jump around, because I mean, some are skippable, but
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I think I'm sticking mainly probably with the singles of this one. I think so, just people could relate. But Twice as Hard, it's a great opener. But as soon as it opens, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I hear AC/DC meets Led Zeppelin. That groove is right there, and I think that when, you know, the singer,
Chris Robinson,
thank you, Chris Robinson, begins to sing and adds that little bit of slide guitar, then you have yourselves that Black Crowes feel to it. But it's for sure an AC/DC meets Led Zeppelin groove. It sounds like a mashup of those two bands.
I hear a lot of early Aerosmith in them too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, right on. Good catch, man. I watched the video of them recorded in Spain in 2009, and it was tight. I think ultimately that's the takeaway from this album. I think it's a good album. I just don't think that it personifies the energy of which they bring forth as artists as well as it does. Because when I've watched all their live videos, that I was like, wow, none of that translates on the album. Like live, they're a different beast.
Did anyone get Skinnered out of any of this?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure.
I got a decent amount of that from a lot of rotating speaker type things.
Yeah.
In a lot of songs that are really Leslie saturated, I heard a lot of like Tuesday's Gone.
Yeah.
That was something that I couldn't shake while I was listening to, and it was probably just the like not the song inspiring it, but just that sound seemed very pulled directly out of Lynyrd Skynyrd's catalog.
Yeah, and you know, anyone unfamiliar with this band too, you know, they had a lot of breakups, and another band of brothers that hate each other. They had reunited early 2000, late 2019, and they were going to do a tour, and it never got off the ground because of COVID. So the fans are super bummed. But only Chris and Rich. It's none of the other guys in the new lineup.
Wow.
Dylan, I just love that Brian describes an album like it's fine cheese. Sometimes it's stinky cheese. I mean, let's be honest. That Marilyn Manson Antichrist Superstar was feet cheese.
Hey guys, we're talking about the cheese plate, because I don't know if we've shared a cheese. Have we shared a cheese plate, the three of us?
Not if you want me to die. I don't eat cheese.
All right, lactose. Well, vegan. But if there's a cheese plate, I'm going to say to the waiter, because it's usually in a restaurant where I'm on my worst behavior, I want the most expensive, stinkiest, disgustingest one you have. And let me tell you, the stuff that I've put in my mouth, it can't even hold its form. Cheese. Anyway, okay, sorry.
Just leaving that wide open. I'm going to let it go.
That's what I distinctly remember. I think we've shared cheese boards, Rob. And I distinctly remember I want cheese that doesn't keep its own shape.
Yeah, I stole that from Anthony Bourdain. May rest his soul.
Yes.
But... Yeah. Cheers, Anthony.
Man, I just opened actually, not to get from sidetrack. I just opened a goat cheese that has fig mixed into it.
That sounds illegal. That's illegal. Black market.
It's heavenly.
You mentioned that a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, like we finally got into it though. Like we bought it, but like we just got into it a couple days ago, and we had it with like a really fizzy red.
So do you put it on a crusty bread?
We were putting it on rosemary crackers.
Oh,
Did
yeah, there
drizzle
you go.
honey on top of it?
Huh?
Did you drizzle honey on top of it?
We did not. It doesn't need it.
For the
It's so,
fig?
it's like so sweet and like super salty and creamy. It's just.
Do you know that
I'm gonna have some when we're done.
there's dead bees inside of figs or something? You ever heard that?
No.
Yeah. So like when the fig, I'll send you a video. Like because it's the bud basically of the
Yeah.
flower.
Yeah.
Sometimes there will be an insect that is eating upon it, and they become engulfed in it.
Oh, interesting.
That probably makes it more metal in the scheme of things.
Yes.
Right.
But then the question is a fig vegan if it has a dead bee inside? Hey, we got Bobby Bad News on here. He loves this band. That's what he says.
One of the greatest debut albums ever. Our generation's Rolling Stones.
See, I get a lot of stones. I'll give that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of Stones for sure. You guys, on a side note, have you heard Dave Grohl with Mick Jagger's song?
I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So raw.
it is. It is great, man. I was nervous to hear Mick, but as soon as he opens his mouth, I'm like, yes, there's a guy that they still pull. Not every band can do that. Like you watch Aerosmith nowadays, it's like no.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
But like the Stones, man, they're they're timeless.
We never did a Stones record.
We're our 50th episode. We're doing Stones because it's gonna be the 50th anniversary of Sticky Fingers.
Oh, dude, I was hoping it'd be Sticky Fingers.
Yeah, spoiler alert, everybody. I figured we're doing a 50th anniversary, 50th episode. We should do a 50th anniversary of an album, and the one that won between the three of us was Sticky Fingers.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all, but I'm glad that I said that because that's what I'm on right now.
Yeah.
Like, as your Stones, we got to do Sticky Fingers, but apparently past Rob was a rock star because he knew what current Rob wanted to say.
Woo! Yeah.
Almost the same guy.
We just need a doctor and a DeLorean, and we're going, baby.
Jesus.
Oh man.
So I think Jealous Again should have been the opener. I like that better than Twice as Hard. I think
which one should be the opener?
Jealous Again. If I
No, definitely. I think Twice as Hard is a great opener. I don't think Jealous Again would be a good opener.
well, fine.
I think it's the reason why it's good is the second one because you really give it a feel for their love and appreciation for blues music, and it's and the, in that straight ahead rock and roll feel. I feel like at least with Twice as Hard, although you hear remnants of, like you said, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, and Aerosmith, you do feel their own DNA in that with adding that slide guitar and some of the way in which he presents his lyrics and sings those lyrics. I think if you start with Jealous Again, you'd be like, oh, this just sounds like another blues ripoff. Not to say that Jealous Again is a blues ripoff. It's just so heavily blues laden. You could hear so many of its predecessors that it wouldn't stand on its own. I feel like it would be a poor entry. Not as poor as like Garden and Garden of Eden together, but
I like it when a band wears their influences so blatantly on their sleeves.
Yeah.
Really in the DNA of what's going on.
Absolutely.
I think Twice as Hard is a good opener because it's more encompassing of the overall tone of the album versus being more pigeonholed into one type of sound. I think Twice as Hard kind of covers a lot of bases all on its own. And I think it has really, even though it's not like super fast or super aggressive or anything like that, it's got a really good energy. It's got like a really good vibe. And I think it has like a good swing almost that I really like in it.
Yeah. Well, not to jump gears here, but Sister Luck, tell me that you don't hear Knocking on Heaven's Door, which was originally recorded by Bob Dylan, but specifically it sounds like Guns N' Roses ripped it right from Sister Luck. Did you hear that?
You mean Black Roses lifted it right from?
Black Roses? No, Guns N' Roses.
Black Rose? No, but no.
Guns N' Roses.
Oh, their version of it. I hear
their version of
Okay.
of Knocking on Heaven's
you
Door.
did that too? You didn't understand either, right?
I was a little confused.
Came out in 91. All right, or was it 92? Use Your Illusion was 91, wasn't it? Yeah, 91.
We'll have to go back and watch the episode.
Yeah, and this one.
We'll link it up right here. Yeah.
Hey, Taylor, yeah.
Be sure to smash that like and subscribe button.
Oh,
Oh, Billy. But yeah, I can hear what you're talking about. I think on that.
yeah. There's a lot of influences here that you, like Rob said, they wear it on the sleeve proudly. Because I hear, like on Seeing Things, I hear Joe Cocker. It sounds like it's ripped right from a Joe Cocker album, especially with the female backup vocalist and all. Like that is a Joe Cocker song.
I hear and She Talks to Angels. I hear Zeppelin 3. Maybe it's just the vibe, the open tuning.
Yeah. Oh,
That's so
wow.
funny. I wrote that too.
Good call.
I wrote that too. Yep. Zeppelin.
I realized this reissue came out in 2021, so this is brand new.
Brand new, yeah. There's some really good, like you said, you'd played the song many times, Hard to Handle, which is an Otis Redding song, which if you listen to that, it's slower, so this one's a little bit faster. But in the 30th anniversary reissue, hello. Wait till I'm back in Rob's ears. Hold on.
Scratch my ear.
Hold on. There it is. So in the 30th anniversary reissue, they re-released that song with a whole other layer to it by adding the horns remix, which is what Otis Redding's song has, is a very horns laden song. So having that was kind of cool. You should hear, you should hear a Brazilian version.
Of Hard to Handle?
I'm not sure. Explain.
Yeah. Don't leave us hanging, Marcel, man. Come on, give us more. You can't dangle that fruit in front of us, man.
Or just link directly. We can check it
link
out.
it. Yeah, for sure.
We can't check it out live, but we can check it out.
Yeah,
Did you hear? You said She Talks to Angels. Did you hear 2020? Mark Morton from Lamb of God's EP Ether, featuring the vocals by Lizzie Hale, doing that song.
Talks Angels?
Yeah, have you heard it?
Is he singing?
Oh no. Lizzie Hale is singing.
Yeah.
Mark Morton's playing guitar.
Probably really good.
It's sick. It's great. It's absolutely great.
Did Mark Morton? I'm going to sound so stupid right now, but Mark Morton released an album of all just guest acts,
yes,
and him
playing
them,
one,
right?
Ether.
He did a thing with Chester Bennington too,
which is
right?
a great song, yeah.
It was okay. I could have sworn I knew that was a thing, and I always would hear about it at the least opportune time for me to be able to remember it.
Right.
So I never checked it out, but I knew it was a thing. Okay.
I read so much today, so much articles I posted today on our site, Facebook site. There's something about new Chester Bennington unheard.
David Morrow's contributing to that.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So today, iconic day for Judas Priest. British Steel was released. Iconic record for metal, as well as Iron Maiden's album, and then obviously Peter Steele passed away on the 14th, many moons ago, which feels like yesterday, but
yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, man, I miss Pete every day. I miss Typo Negative. I miss that sound. I miss what he did as an artist, as a vocalist, as a stage presence. The man was a tight.
He was a good personality.
Yeah,
he was the guy. He lived it. He was just.
Yeah. They were down to earth guys. I had met one of them in the Village in New York City. Just super down to earth dudes. Really nice guys.
Bummer.
So something we're all talking about, the things that we hear on this album.
Yeah.
I think what something to take away from all of it is that I think what they did on this is manage to pay perfect homage to everything that clearly inspired them up to that point, and still kind of make it theirs to a degree that you hear all the influence, but it's still a different sound. And I think that sound is very consistent throughout most of their catalog too, because I listened to this album and I listened to, I can never get the name right. I listened to Southern Harmony and Musical Companion as well. And the sound is very consistent from one album to the other. So again, also paying complete homage, but doing their own thing. It was just an interesting thing to take away from from listening to their music, because I am kind of removed from it. Like you were saying, Brian, I knew them and I knew the singles, I knew all the songs, but just, I didn't listen to it casually. It was just if I heard it, it was, I heard it and that was pretty much it, but I wouldn't, volunteer to throw a CD in or something like that.
Yeah, for me, I knew the songs, and then they had it behind the music. Behind the music was such a great tool to find on that show. Pre YouTube. That was such a great to get turned on to new music. And I saw on the Paramount streaming, they're bringing it back, a new season.
What?
Another reason to buy a streaming service, but
buy this.
Will it bring all the legacy stuff back too?
I assume so, but it probably already has that. But the back catalog. But watching that behind the music, there was so much fanfare about this band, and I've read multiple articles about them over the years in Guitar Magazine. So understanding the passion of these guys, of what they were doing, and then just the dynamic, and Chris is a good front man, and then they had that record where Jimmy Page toured with them, and they basically just played Led Zeppelin songs, and that was just incredible live record. And that was my first.
That was huge.
That was the only record of theirs I ever owned. And it had the hits also, because it was a Black Crowes show, but it had the Zeppelin songs, but it was live. So I think, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but upon listening to this deluxe version and that whole concert, which I didn't realize till now live with you guys, that it was from 90, the power of these guys as a live band, it's almost a little disappointing that they didn't capture that lightning in a bottle on the record.
Right, which we're going to do that with side B later, talking about live performances and things like that. So I'll kind of say what I want to say about Pantera with that. But yeah, it doesn't, and I kind of did what James did too, and I agree with you, James. I think a great way, and Rob as well, what you guys said. It just, they're great albums. They're great music. I think that they do have their own DNA here. Like I think like they have those familiar bar shuffle blues, but they add a little grit to it and they speed it up a bit that makes it their own. But ultimately, like it just when you watch these live videos, be it from the '90s in their inception, or even in 2009 when I was watching that one from Spain, um, it just the album doesn't capture a fraction of their energy. They really do put on a great show. You could see it in the crowd when they pan out to the crowd. It's electric, and they're great, and they're all great. There's nothing worse than seeing a band and the singer is known for being a pretty good singer, and they just can't hold a note, or they can't, they're winded too quick. Rob Zombie, and then, so it's kind of cool to see that, and they're just tight musicians, man. It's like watching a group of session musicians. They're really tight, and they have like female vocalists, so they have add things to songs that aren't on the album, and that's why I love it's going to see a live performance, and we'll kind of jump to this later, but like when they add different stuff that wasn't there, and you're like, yes, yeah. I want that version forever.
Right.
And you can really tell like the chemistry. That's why it's unfortunate, Rob, what you were saying, that like it's, the reunion's only 2 of the original members, because I feel like when you see those live performances, those early '90s live performances, that there was really good chemistry between the whole band, that like they could take those moments and just enjoy playing together. And if it's not the same group of guys now, that's unfortunate.
I didn't know the brothers were, but they're still together though. The 2 brothers, don't they play together? It's not like Oasis, but they can't be in the same room.
They've had major falling outs.
Yeah.
And they've gotten back together, and then they had like a separate. One of them had like the Robinson Brotherhood or something. So maybe it was just the 2 of them. But now just the 2 of them are calling themselves Black Rose. I'm not a big enough fan to know
all
that,
of it.
If all these guys mattered.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they mattered, but you
Mm.
know what I mean? Like, who are the other guys?
Oh, so the other band members. So you have Chris on vocals, but he also did. I think he played like harmonica. You have Rich Robinson on guitar, Jeff Cease on guitar. You have Johnny Colt on bass guitar, and then Steve Gorman on drums.
Interesting.
5-piece. All right.
Yeah.
Somebody here. I don't know if this is a reissue, but it's a cast and crew, like it's a movie.
Yeah.
Chris Robinson, the singer, young Rich Robinson, the guitars, and then the rest of the guys. Steve Gorman, the drums and cymbals.
Two separate entities there.
It's cleverly done. I love this. It reminds me of like Dumbo, right?
Yeah.
Which apparently is not okay any longer, but which for obvious reasons, but yeah.
They're obvious.
What? Oh, the black racist stuff, no?
Oh, I don't even. I don't keep track of any. I apologize. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, Rob, you bring up a great point. So, like, anytime there's a reissue, it's really worth exploring anniversary editions and things like that. This is a great 30th. It was fun to hear some of the B-sides. It was fun to hear some of the unreleased tracks, demos, the live versions. It was really awesome to hear some of the songs on here.
Thongs?
Thongs. Reimagine like that. Like I said, hard to handle with the horns. So it had even more of that Otis Redding DNA. I just love Otis Redding. So kind of hearing it become more of a tip of the hat to him was awesome. So there's a lot of great things about those anniversary editions. I really do enjoy most of them.
I apologize if I missed this. The tour with Jimmy Page, was that available as an album? Or
Oh, yeah.
Was.
Oh,
Did he play on the original music, or only came out for a certain part of the set?
I assume he played on everything.
I think he did.
That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you and I and Rob got to see Page and Plant, so I mean.
Let's not kick the bear.
All right, on we plow.
But I'll look into that too. Like that sounds like something I'd like to see.
I love you, brother. Don't shake your head. No, you shake that head. Yes. Love you do. It's easy because you're beautiful. You and that droopy eyelid.
Do.
I love your eyelid so much. I tried to emulate it this week.
What happened?
Dude, Sunday night, I rubbed my eye, and I was like, "Oh God, that's tender." And it didn't feel like the lid; it felt like the eyeball. So I got a little nervous. And then as the night progressed, it was sore as hell. I was like, "What the hell happened to my eye?" So I'm like checking, seeing anything's in, nothing. Next day I wake up, it's swollen shut. I gotta like pry it open. I'm like, oh no. And I went to the doctor. They're like, it's too early to tell. You may have a sty on the upper eye on the inside. So they gave me some medicine. It's the swelling gone down a ton. Like I could obviously keep it open.
I was gonna say it seems much better.
It feels so much better.
I did, however, save the picture that you sent us, and that is now your profile picture on my phone.
Oh, nice. You know it's bad when your 9-year-old and 6-year-old like, oh, that doesn't look good. I'm like, you guys aren't observant of anything. That's great. Awesome. Let it be your entertainment.
Your kid comes down, he's like, what the hell happened to you?
Oh! It's never a good face you want your younger to say. Ah!
You could be missing an arm, wouldn't notice at all.
They would notice. So many things they don't notice, but my eye, oh!
You don't think they'd notice the arm and be like, hey, what's going on there?
Like an hour or so into it.
Maybe, yeah.
Depends if it's elf going on.
So
yeah.
Let's talk about live music. We're halfway through.
Yeah, side B, baby. Live.
Well,
performance.
it's a little bit of one and a little bit of the other. You know, we're talking about how nothing is really, they never captured what they do live. And I think that's really unfortunate. I was telling you guys earlier, like listening to this reminded me of that Bob Rock thing with Metallica on the Black Album that he had, you know, when he did the bid for producing that album, that he said that they never captured their energy live. And I think this is very much the same story here. That's why I was especially kind of like confused when you mentioned that Rick Rubin was a part of this, because you would think that he would have gotten more of that out.
Well, here's the thing about that. It's interesting. So he was a producer. Now I read this somewhere, and I don't know because it's like, again, you have a reissue, so I don't know. But apparently it was not public knowledge that he was the producer. So in the initial release of the album, until it became a well-received album and reached notoriety, was it revealed that he was a producer on it? Which I don't know if that's true, and I don't understand the reasoning behind that, quite honestly. Because of all the things to have your names attached to, I don't think this is a bad one. Even if like the band blew up or not, like it's not a bad album. And like Rob said, like they proudly wear those influences on their sleeve and pay a really nice tip of the hat. It's not like a ripoff in any way. I don't walk away from this being like, God, what a ripoff, you know, by any means. So if that's true, I don't know if that's something I read is just like BS, but like I thought that was kind of odd. I'm like, well, why? I mean, Rick Rubin produces amazing work. So that was odd.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't even want to say, like, when I was listening to it today and I heard those live versions, I was like, that must be recent. Like maybe they did like a show where they played the whole record straight through, you know, later on or something. And that sort of I justified, well, they were just green when they made this record and they weren't there yet. But if that was their live show when this was being done, it's really disappointing because that people didn't have access to that. Like imagine the fan base, how much more it could have reached if they got to hear that. Cause you know,
well, you're saying, yeah, the internet would skyrocket. But if you think back to our days of Tapeville and scrounge around for bootlegs, like, and Grateful Dead's a great example of that. Even before, you know, you had tapes being shuffled around, and Zeppelin, you had people that were constantly. So those fan bases were ravenous for it. But yeah, the internet would have helped it expand beyond that circle.
Right.
But it's always been there, always. Live, it's tricky. There's some bands. Pantera comes to mind because Pantera albums are amazing, absolutely amazing. And then you watch them live, and damn, better. And some of their best produced, like far beyond Driven, arguably up to the point, and Vulgar Display, where Vulgar Display was an amazingly produced mix.
I think Vulgar Display of Power is their best sounding album.
Yeah,
personally.
And then you had Vulgar, and then you know, they were just produced so well, mixed so well. And then you watch that live and it's even better. They're like, well, how do you do that even better? Phenomenal.
I think it's a group of guys too. Like,
oh yeah, Dimebag
and Vinnie Paul and Rex and Phil they're really, really great musicians. It's not hard, you know, the great songs and great musicians. It's like the equivalent of seeing Lamb of God now. That you see Lamb of God and you basically go to see the record. It's perfect.
Yeah. How is the new drummer? I haven't checked out the new stuff since what's his name left.
Yeah, I've been kind of removed, but from everything that I hear, I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they always put out great stuff. Lamb.
Yeah. So I had a question for you guys. I don't know if either of you have a writing implement and something that you can prop up to the screen so that There's no like foreshadowing to any of this. But I was going to ask you all, what is your favorite band to see live? If you want to write it down and just hold it up for the screen.
Wait. We need parameters. Why?
Wow, look at this rule, man.
No. Just overall, if this blank band has come to your town and they're going to play a great arena. It's going to be a great show. Who's your favorite band to see live?
All right, hold on.
And if you want, on the count of 3 or whatever.
I gotta just choose one because I just wrote down
make
4.
Yeah, only one.
Shit. All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you guys in the spot, but I figured we're
I
talking
immediately
about live
just jotted
music,
down 4. I'm like,
It'd be a fun exercise to say who and not have any, preconceived notion as to who it might be. Take your time, Rob. Take your time, everybody.
James, is yours Page and Plan?
Jesus.
Poke the bear.
It is not Page and Plan, but
Marcel,
I have it
what's
on my
DT?
iPad, so I can hold it
Did I
up.
miss something? What's DT?
Dream Theater.
Oh, Dream Theater. Oh, nice.
Is that
dude.
Dylan's?
Dude, we're doing that next week. Marcel, tune in for that. We're gonna be doing Dream Theater.
Pre-tape.
What's that?
Images and words.
Images. Oh yeah, we're gonna pre-tape it. That's right. Yeah.
That's all right, but it'll still premiere.
Yeah,
Premiere 9 o'clock or whatever your time zone is. All right, what's the band? Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Whose mom? Which mom? There's 2 moms here.
I can't see what you're
I knew it was gonna be Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. Okay.
Yeah, nails. Yeah.
Yeah, like easily 9 Inch Nails. And
It's different though. That's why because 9 Inch Nails is an immersive experience. It is energy on a
so is Pearl Jam.
but it's a different energy. Pearl Jam is like warmth, and 9 Inch Nails is like rage. Like
Nine Inch Nails is very
necessarily.
visceral.
Not necessarily, because that Lights in the Sky tour, that kind of farewell tour, I wouldn't say it was all rage.
But even still, there's a feeling of standing in an arena, and Pearl Jam does Better Man, and Eddie starts the intro at the lip of the stage, and everybody sings it, and it's like the music hugs you.
Yeah.
At a Nails show, I've never felt
true.
hugged by the music. I've felt
A different kind of hug.
Yeah. But that's my number. I mean, they're neck and neck, just different opinions. That's why it was difficult. And James, of course.
So, out of curiosity, do you like talking about live music and how a band captures that sound and that feel on their records? Do you think all the bands that you've picked for Brian and I, 9 Inch Nails, and Rob, Pearl Jam, do you think those bands, like we were saying that the Black Crowes never captured that potency on a recording?
Yeah.
Do you guys think that these bands have captured that on their recordings?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. I think that it's magnificent. So, like going back to Pantera, like that energy is visceral on the albums. You listen to Vulgar Display specifically, it's there. You watch it live, it's on steroids.
It's amplified.
Pearl Jam, you listen to 10. I can't listen to 10 and not move. If I'm not moving, I'm probably on my way out to a casket. You know what I mean? Like, I'm moving, man. I love that album. It gets in my veins, and I'm just like, yeah. I imagine live hearing that album or parts of that album, woo, an experience. Same thing with Nails. You listen to Downward Spiral, even, Pretty Hate Machine, and you watch those songs live, it's
mind-blowing, yeah.
It's amplified, but that energy is there.
I've seen Pearl Jam. I've been on the floor at Madison Square Garden, front row.
Nice.
And they played Why Go, and they do a big intro, and everyone's bouncing. And you have to remember, MSG underneath that's ice or the basketball court. It's one or the other, depending on the time of year. And the floor was shaking. The arena was shaking. On the stage, they made a point to say, I feel it shaking up here from you guys bouncing. So it's like music triggered, and it's not like a pit or anything. It's just, the 12-string bass. Hey. I mean, it's just crazy. But you know what? That's and the question for those who missed it, if you want to answer it, if there's one band that comes into town, what's that band you have to see? Your favorite live band of all time? And I agree, Richie Kotzen's sick guitar player as well. But I'm like vomiting in my mouth thinking this thought. But
you're really torn, Pearl Jam and 9 Inch Nails, aren't you?
No, not even. Like hearing a Pearl Jam song on the record does one thing. It's not the performance of the band live that makes it So, I mean, the band's phenomenal. They change the arrangements, they stretch it out, they slow it down. They're just 5 guys, 6 guys, depending on the gig, all on the same page, following the leader in the center of the stage. But there isn't something happening. I'm thinking like a newer song, right? Like on the self-titled record with the avocado on it. It had like Worldwide Suicide on it. Worldwide, that was a staple for a while. There was nothing about the live version of Worldwide Suicide that differed greatly from the record version, but the feeling of the people around it made it more fun and it made it more energetic. On the same record, there's a song called Unemployable, which I despised on the record, but then after hearing it live, it changed my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Conversely, 9 Inch Nails, there hasn't ever been a song that I hated on the record and loved live. They've always loved them the same. They just take what they're doing on the record and they just put it in a live version on like cocaine and caffeine and ecstasy and just pure magical energy. But okay, correct. Let's reset the frame. Pearl Jam is amazing live because of the energy from the crowd. Nails is amazing live from the energy of the band.
I disagree. I agree and disagree. Because that was what I was going to say. As you were doing those, the thing that popped in my head, I was like, you know what makes the energy too? I think it is a symbiotic relationship. I don't think it's all on the band. I think that the crowd plays into that too. There have been bands that I've seen live and like, oh, this is killer. But like, I was like, why is anyone else feeling this the same way I am? Like, you know,
Dude, remember when we were on the floor on the Fragile tour and that little girl got knocked down and we had to pick her up?
Not with me.
Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh, that was not Fragile. That was with Teeth.
I'm sorry, with Teeth.
I'm like, we didn't go see Fragile together.
Oh no, I was invited to that one. With Teeth. It's my first time seeing them, I think, was that show.
Yeah, we had to pick her up. Yeah. Dude, she was gonna get stomped.
Oh, she was gonna killed. And then
I mean, it was rough for us to stand up. Right, I mean, it was rough, man. I was like, oh man, she's gonna go. We gotta go help.
I feel like that was the wrong venue for that show.
Oh, Michelle said, for me, songs that people could sing together makes the moment magic. Yeah, there is something magical. I know some people get kind of like weird about that. Like, I didn't pay to see the band just play the music while the audience sings. But I think that there's something magical that could transcend itself and it becomes this other entity. I think that is the definition of feel of what magic can best be personified by. And I that's kind of cool. Well, yeah, I would like to see Eddie or Trent or whoever the artist is, fill in the blank, sing it from soup to nuts at the same time. What'd you say? Bruce, did you say?
That's another band that people follow around.
Oh my God. Chrissy's got family that have traveled around part of the country to go see him, you know? But yeah, I think that that's got to feel amazing, having people sing your words back to you, like to know that it made that much of an impact and it means something different to each person. It helps them or, that's incredible. Yeah. That's a great point, Michelle. I love that.
So go James, that's right.
Do you think that device is ever overused? Because I feel like none of us, I don't think we're fortunate enough to see Metallica in the early 90s on the Black Album tour, because I think that's their peak personally. What, Rob?
I wasn't invited.
None of us saw them.
I know. So I wasn't invited.
Don't worry. He's not going page and plant on us. It's all right. I poked the
anyway,
bear.
The point being,
good.
That early on in their career, I feel like they were still very much entertainers. And I feel like nowadays Metallica is kind of along for the ride. Anybody else feel that way?
I do.
Or is it just me? Because nowadays you see that device of James sings like the first 2 lines of a song and the crowd sings the rest of it.
Yeah, well,
and that kind of bothers me.
Well, a great example of that is the Big Four. When Rob and I see that in Yankee Stadium, is you watched, Rob, I think you came late, so I don't know if you saw all of it, but like Anthrax took the stage. Yeah, and it was incredible. And these are older dudes. These are not young. They're not spring chickens, but like they ripped it up, man. They just ripped it up, thrash style and all. And then Megadeth came on. I was a little disappointed until Rob explained to me that I didn't realize this, that David was supposed to be scheduled for neck surgery and passed it up so he could do this iconic event. So that was the only reason why Dave was so stiff. But otherwise, musically, like the album, precise as all hell. Like it was amazing and just made my heart smile and glow with watching that level of precision live. Like they don't play easy things, Megadeth. And to watch
they smoked Metallica that night.
And then you watch Slayer take the stage like a natural disaster taking over. You're like, holy shit, is that a hurricane? You just watch the crowd just go woof. And like, I'm like, oh my God, there's bodies on the floor. Holy crap. Like it was, whoa. And then Metallica came out, and I felt like it deflated the balloon a bit, you know?
Lars was just so.
Oh, the worst I'd ever seen him.
It was
worst I'd ever seen him. It was so disappointing.
It makes me happy a little bit to know that I'm not the only one.
Yeah, and I like them a lot, and I love their earlier stuff. For me, after Black, I don't really listen to any of the other stuff.
We
will. Yeah.
Convert you.
No, it's not gonna hurt me. Yeah.
Convert.
I don't want to blow up your spot, Rob, but Rob and I had a very, very complex discussion on Metallica a couple months back, where he had sent me live performances of songs that were on Load played during the Black Album tour. And that is a completely different beast. And I believe the conversation went something along the lines of, if they never cut their hair, do you think people would have liked Load more? And the answer is yes.
Yep.
If the band never changed visually in the way that they did for Load and Reload, and overall, like, because their stage aesthetic and their stage show changed a little bit when they did Load. But if they had played all of Load or Reload during the Black Album tour, people would have eaten the shit out of it.
Yeah. Well, there's a big gap between the Black Album and Load too, and like the environment changed. But yeah, Kirk coming from Kirk Hammett to now he's in the pimp suit with the fur polish and the eyeliner. It's just a very different.
Yeah.
You know, if you look in the booklet inside Load, like there's a picture of Lars and Kirk like kissing on the mouth, and it's like Metallica fans weren't ready for any of that. Like, just to shock. It wasn't even into it. It was just, I don't know.
Well, you know, another great point to bring up too, and I don't know if we kind of touched on this, but like sometimes live music, especially years removed from like an initial album. So like the Black Crowes playing a debut, Nine Inch Nails playing Pretty Hate Machine from their debut, 10 years later, 5 years later, whatever the time frame is, doesn't really matter. Sometimes it could breathe spectacular life back into that album. So like Pretty Hate Machine is an amazing album. Even the reissue that they kind of remixed and did it even bolder. You watch that live and it's different. It's fantastic. Every time I listen to Pretty Hate Machine, I almost always will follow it up by listening to it live. Pull out one of my live albums, going onto YouTube, or pulling out a live version of the songs, because they like something I can never have is amazing on the album. It could bring a tear to your eye. You listen to it live, and if you don't get choked up, if you don't feel something, I don't know, check your emotional bank. It may be on empty. You know what I mean? There's just certain bands that like they bring it live, and it brings whole new life and meaning into those songs, and it's cool.
You know what I think is part of that, and as a guitar player, this is something that's like a fascination of mine to a very big degree, because something that I've always wanted from bands, and I think I'm the only person that wants it, is I would love, just broad example, I would have loved for Korn to re-record and reproduce the entire first Korn album and release it now. I would love for Metallica to re-record Ride the Lightning right now, like a studio recording of it, because as a band, as you grow and as you expand and as your catalog increases, I feel like with each effort you produce, your musical vocabulary changes to a degree. So if you, like what you were saying, Brian, that like playing Pretty Hate Machine now, Nine Inch Nails playing Pretty Hate Machine right now brings different things to those songs, because it's a different level of maturity and a different subset of sounds that are built into the band
now sometimes.
Is what I'm saying making sense?
Oh yeah, they'll play terrible live, and you're like, God damn, that's even better than when it was released, in '89. You're like, damn, like,
yeah, like I would really, like, genuinely, like, I get like literally a chill like thinking about it, that I would love for a band like Nine Inch Nails, with their personnel that they have now and their vocabulary that they have now and their experience of playing those songs for so long, to go back and re-record them.
Yeah.
Because it'd be songs I know and songs that I love in a manner in which they've never been experienced on a recording before.
Well, hell, if
I think that'd be so amazing.
Yeah, if movie studios could do it with all these movies and ruin it almost every time, why can't a musician do it with their own work and knock it out the park every time?
It's like a reboot, sort of. And I think it'd be, personally, I think it could fail dramatically, but I also think it could be an amazing, amazing thing. I'd love to hear Master of Puppets recorded with James Hetfield's Black Album tone. Like that's such a stupid thing to think of, but as a musician, it's something that like I in my heart want so badly.
Yeah.
Because it'd be revolutionary. I just don't think it's ever. I think you were saying something about it
happening right now. So Taylor Swift, her label sold her back catalog to another label, so she doesn't own her masters, and they didn't even give her a chance to bid on it. It was a really dirty dog move to do to the girl, who's like someone who writes her own music, and now she doesn't own the masters. So you know what she said? Screw you. I'm going to re-record note for note every one of my albums from my second album all the way through 1989, which was like 2 records ago. And the first one just came out last Friday. And that's like her first, like the first couple of like really bubblegummy beginning songs. But hearing her sing it with her, 30-year-old voice versus her 17-year-old voice, becoming a better singer, becoming a better musician, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like you just basically sold me on listening to that entire first album and now listening to the redo of it. Like now I'm very, very excited. I know.
Well, there are bands doing that though. Think about it. Like Coheed has done this. Lots of bands have done this. So we're going on tour and we're only playing this album. Right. So, and if they get recorded or if you find a bootleg of it, you have it. So it is interesting to kind of see those bands like, oh, we're going to be doing, second stage. So you're hearing them do it in their maturity. You're like, oh man. So it is happening, and it's happening live, which sometimes can be even more spectacular because you have a little bit more room for like jam sessions and just these little accents and the interactions and the stories that come along. Like, I wrote this one when ba, 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 ba. And it's just like, oh yeah,
You know what? Like, to take it a step further, Grateful Dead, Fish, all these jam bands, the tape culture, where Pearl Jam to a degree, where people would just tape every single show, and there would be like specific guys. You always had the best tape, and if you could get a board tape, sometimes that wasn't even the guy who stood right in front of the mixing board, which is the best spot in the house to hear everything, and he had the recorder right there, and he captured everything. Now in 2021, whenever we get to do gigs again, like, most bands are on stage, they're on in-ears. Everything is the same mix from night to night. They're on amp modelers, so there's complete control of the tone. Every band should be, Pearl Jam did it for every single show for the past 20 years, but every band should release every show live. Think of the incredible secondary revenue stream. You paid to come to the show, now you pay an extra $15 to get a recording of the show.
And like the subset, like the sub like cult following of the band being like, oh, do you have Vermont 1994?
Right.
Like that'd be for
like
the
a trading
fantastic
thing. Come back again. I mean, you would add, like Rob said, more revenue to the band's direct pocket because you could deal away with the stupid music industry as the middleman. It's like, hey, screw you and your 360 deal. I got this.
Right. Guys, did we just revolutionize the music industry?
So, somebody should. I wrote about that today. On one of the. I was like, we got to support. Oh, it was yesterday about the Cro-Mags being pissed about the reissue of their album, and rightfully so, because they've never seen a damn dime since its initial inception. It's like, and that's criminal. And it was reissued, and they still didn't receive a dime. And it's just like, these are our artists. These are our collective family. We need to support these individuals because it sure as shit ain't happening with the music industry, who supposedly has their back.
So there was a Dead show. It's like the most famous Grateful Dead show ever. It was Cornell University in 1977, up in Ithaca. And they re-released it on this vinyl a couple years ago.
Ooh, that's nice.
So this is the album, and it's 4 discs, and it's just in this fancy box, and it has like a mock playbill and a little bit, and it has just regular black discs, nothing special. This thing was like $400 when it came out. People would spend money to have these versions of these shows.
How much was it?
It's like $400 when it came out.
Damn it! Wow.
So like, people are willing to invest in this music because of these live experiences and then become iconic. So you take something like, to take it a step further, 9 Inch Nails, right? Like Perfect Drug is one of my top 10 favorite 9 Inch Nails songs. Trent said forever it couldn't be done live until on that farewell tour, they realized, oh, we have the right bands. We can do it live.
Yep.
So now here's an interpretation of a song that they thought they couldn't do. And now they're doing it 10 years, 15 years after it came out. Something like a one and done, and it's just gone. We can't play it ever again. Like, imagine being a musician creating something. We're part of it now, James. The 2 Heated Exchange songs that we have, they've never been played live.
Yeah,
as us together or in general, but the music exists. It's out in the world. How many records are that way? Imagine 20 years later being like, oh, now we can play that song. And someone's a fan of that song, and they're like, oh my God, the song that I thought was lost, now I can get a live version of it. I want every live version of it.
Yeah. Marcel said that we recorded again our album Note by Note, Yeah, it's probably fun to revisit things. I mean, we started doing it with something we wrote like years ago. Like God, how long ago did we write that? 2007,
Right.
So long.
2008,
So
2007,
long.
right? And now it's
Oh, I think,
2021.
dude, I think it's before. I think it's like 2003.
Yeah, it's really
No,
early
is
2000s.
it?
Yeah, because we were going to stop being because Drew went to college, and then In Question started 2003, so it was in that blip between.
Yeah, that's right.
So 0203, early
Wow.
03, summer 03, late 02.
Yeah.
Summer.
We gotta keep moving on that. That's a good one.
It is. I showed it to Jack the other day. He's like, "Wow, it's Brian." I said, "That's Brian."
Oh, right on. What's up,
I
Jack?
showed it to Jeremy too.
You showed it to Jeremy?
Yeah.
What did you
He's
say?
a nice man. He keeps saying, "Tell Brian I say hi."
What's up,
Look,
Jeremy?
I got my hair like Brian again.
That's
Growing out. It's growing out. Don't tell him. I'll get a cut again.
That's awesome.
The Brian Winder.
Does he call me Winder?
I corrected.
Brian Stringwinder.
I mean, how do you spell Winder? Oh, I'd have a D.
You know what's interesting? I don't get it. I've never, even as a
Same
young
word.
kid, I got over it quickly because like, who cares? But like, it's weird because like the word wind is used more frequently than wind. So the fact that your default go-to setting is like to say winder as opposed to winder is odd to me. And I'm not saying that because like I have an attachment to my last name because I can care less about my last
Dude,
name.
my last name is completely phonetic and it gets botched constantly. And I get intimidating 10 letters, blah, blah, blah. But if you just sound out every one of those letters like you learned in kindergarten, you can say my last name, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the wine thing is strictly a Robin. Maybe it's a guitar player thing because you wind strings around tuning pegs, so you think wind regularly.
Oh, there's probably outside of that though, like every teacher in America, or every teacher that I've met in America,
really?
every teacher that I've ever had has always started off with winder. I'm like, cool, all right.
Maybe they're all guitar players.
Teachers.
Maybe they don't have a strong
we're
grasp of the
not.
English language. Who knows?
Well, guys, I mean, you know, in just winding it down, I think anyone who hears this, check out this record. It's iconic. It's a staple. It's something that you should familiarize yourself with, even if it's just the singles. But I implore you to immediately, if not in the opposite order, seek the songs out live.
Yeah.
And
live shows from that time period are very, very good.
And just go see live music in general.
Or even more recently, I'm telling you, that 2009 concert I watched was killer. I mean, so I've watched the early stuff that they did from their early, inception to, and even watching those 2000s, I'm like, damn, these guys still bring it. And I get it, it's not the same lineup, but that doesn't necessarily always change things depending on the band. That you can't get away with that with Led Zeppelin. Maybe it's not the same. What's that?
Wouldn't know.
Where's the womp 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 button?
It's not even. It's not because that's offensive to me. That's.
I don't play this game.
He has no.
I really got to look.
You got to get some more sounds in there, brother. And you didn't do right before our segue. What is our segue? Our Batman 89. Gentlemen. Blew it. Don't do it now. Blew it. We're about to head out.
Autobots, roll out.
That's pretty good for the end right there, actually.
Have either of you checked out? I haven't, but there's 2 new animated movies of the Transformers on Netflix. I think it's part of a trilogy. And the animation is very reminiscent of that one I told you guys to check out that you can't get anywhere. They pulled it off of all streaming media, but it was the part of the Cyber Wars trilogy. The first one was what's called Combiner Wars. It was sick, and they pulled it, and you can't find it anywhere.
Weren't you a big Beast Wars fan? Beast Machines, all that stuff. Didn't you like that?
I caught it a little bit, and I was like, I don't like the animation at all. And then this guy at work I worked with back when I was in New York working at Sears. I found out he was a Transformers fan. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I want to like it, but I just don't. He's like, dude. And he started explaining the timeline.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'm in. Like, because I'm such a sci-fi nerd. I didn't catch it from the beginning. So, like, I didn't know. So I was like, he's like, you got to go back and watch him. So I started watching. I was like, once you have that timeline in your head, then you can get past, like, the animation, It's like initially when Nickelodeon redid the Turtles, me and my wife weren't a big fan of the animation of that at first. Mm-hmm. And then I can care less. I like that better than the one I grew up with from the 80s. The storyline is phenomenal. I can't speak highly enough of that. The writers, the animators, the voice actors, top to tail, it's the closest representation to the original black and white comic book from the 80s. It is amazing. If you have not seen the Ninja Turtles from not the newest Nickelodeon iteration, the older one from 2012, if you just type in Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012, you'll see it. They have a string of DVD. Phenomenal. I highly recommend.
And it brought in all of the obscure like characters that you're just like, I saw that toy, but that was never on the cartoon. I know, and now they are. Like even the characters, if I remember correctly, even the guys from the Secret of the Ooze, Tokyo and were in there as well. So it's like really hit everything.
Huge. The writers, several writers or one of the writers was a huge horror fan, sci-fi fan. They had voices iconic from like Reanimator. They had Bill Moseley. They had Danny Trejo was on there. You have tons of voice, I guess, actors.
Robert Trejo.
Yeah, Robert Trejo.
Did
I say Robert Trejo? Oh no, did I say Robert Trejo?
No, you got it right.
I got it right.
You got it right. I'm just being a joke.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Fox.
Jamie Lee Fox. I got it right this time.
Equally funny.
You can't force this magic. It's cool. Like there's lots of tips that I had to the old school. Like there's a whole episode like on Big Trouble in Little China almost. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really.
Is it available to stream anywhere? Or?
On Paramount Network, which is the same one.
Network.
But Paramount's the same one that's going to have Behind the Music. So 2 for 1.
I'm not buying another streaming service. It's getting out of hand. It's like
I paid for that other one, man. I'm tired. So right now I have
Disney Plus, Netflix,
HBO.
Oh Jesus.
And I paid for the Peacock because I used to pay for WWE Network, but they took that away. Now it's part of Peacock, so I got to pay for that too. So I'm paying for 5 streaming services, everything but Hulu, pretty much, and Paramount. And now I gave Amazon too, that one too, Prime, and I just gave them another $5 a month to watch those concerts.
So I refuse to do that because I have Prime. We have a
that.
Prime account. I'm not adding on to that. It's like, no, that should be part of it. That's ridiculous. You're not rich enough? Out here.
Exactly. Jeff Bezos makes enough in 2 seconds to pay off my house and all of my debt.
Well,
I'll be over here.
I'm contributing to his wealth. So
every day I buy something off of Amazon. So who am I to talk? But I'm not going to give him $5 extra a month for something I already paid for.
Yeah. Oh man, this is a great episode. This is a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. It was fun listening to this album. It's fun exploring their live concerts in a time where you can't really see live performances. So it was kind of fun to do that. It made me start looking up other performers that I really like and watching them live.
There's so much great content for live stuff on YouTube, which is free. On the commercials, just like random, like I didn't realize this until maybe over the last year or so, but like just pick a record you like, any band, and someone has compiled every song they've ever played live into one full video.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That's great.
Strangers for doing that work.
Oh, it's just thousands and millions of DJs out there, basically just video DJs, YouTube DJs. It's cool. It's great. Just type in whatever it is, the keyword with playlist, and you will find just a wealth of videos.
Look for something that's been really big for me has been the 90s Woodstocks. Like just going through those and just because they're all there. Yeah. And there's so many. If you can't find a band to listen to from either of those Woodstocks, then you just don't like music apparently, because there's just all of them are there. So
you watched the DMX performance from there.
I watched all the DMX one the other day, actually.
I wanted to post something about DMX on the Facebook page. I just didn't like that the majority of articles were hyper focused on his trials and tribulations. First and foremost. Yeah, before talking about him being this iconic legend and what he brought to art in general, but to hip hop, I just didn't like that. I think it's fine to mark some of his, trials and tribulations that he's gone through, because it makes the man, it makes the artist for sure. It is the motivator, it is the great fire under all of our asses that forces us to prevail and persevere and show the world that and show yourself, most importantly, I did this, I overcame that, I came out of that.
You're defined by your struggle.
Right. But I just didn't like the majority of the articles I was reading. It wasn't well balanced. It felt like, I don't know, it was kicking a man while he's down, but it wasn't as honorable as I thought it could be. And I'm not going to post something like that, because I read everything I post. I don't just share. Like I try to write a little blurb. Today I wrote a pretty big blurb on the Iron Maiden. But I read them all, and I'm not going to put my name on something. It's not a fair representation of the man. He's a fantastic artist. He deserves better.
The video of him when he's on the slingshot ride.
Oh my God!
It gotta be hard.
Oh God. One of my favorites.
Did I send you guys? I found a video earlier today. It was a mashup of DMX and Sad But True.
No, that's cool.
No, you sent us the one with
send,
No, I sent you guys the Van Halen one.
The Van Halen did. That was pretty cool too. I thought. I mean, it wasn't
good.
fantastic,
It wasn't
but it was pretty good. I'll send you guys the Sad But True and DMX one as soon as we hang up and whatnot, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic.
Rick and Morty did a great tip of the hat years ago. It was either last season or 2 seasons ago. Did you guys see that with X Gonna Bring It To You at the end of the show, where him and Summer are like all, steroided up and just going around town, just kicking all the crappy people around town to that music? It was really good. It was a nice tip of the hat to DMX. Yeah. X Gonna Bring It To You. Yeah, his guttural growl, man. It's unmatched. It's great. He just
For a period, I had Siri on my phone call me DMX, so that if I asked Siri what my name was, she would say DMX.
I would pay money to have Siri sound like DMX.
I heard you could have Alexa sound like Samuel L. Jackson right now.
What?
Yeah, like you could have Alexa talk to you.
Vulgar language and all?
Yeah, like properly.
Yes!
Like he'll curse you out and tell you what the weather is.
I don't have Alexa, but that'd be cool.
I've been meaning to try it on mine.
Sound like that.
I have I'll send that to you guys as well. There's a video about how to enable it. It's pretty funny.
Cool.
Okay,
this is great, guys. This is great.
All right, guys. So next week we'll be back on a pre-record. So just enjoy it. Please watch it. If we can schedule that, hopefully, and if not, we will see you guys in 2 weeks from tonight. All right.
Yeah, thank you everybody for viewing. Marcel, it was really great meeting you, man. Thank you for all the input. Dylan, as always, as well. Bobby, if you're still here, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for viewing and watching us and interacting with us. It was a lot of fun tonight. Thank you, making this Wednesday pretty spectacular.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Better late than never.